Good morning, children. Today we discuss one new lesson, that is new empires and kingdoms. After the decline of the Mauryas in the 2nd century BCE, North India witnessed the rise and fall of many small kingdoms. For quite some time, the Satavahanas in the south and the Kushans in the north maintained stability and order. But there was no empire as vast and powerful as that of the Mauryas till the coming of the Guptas. Though not as grand, the Guptas came closer to the Mauryas in terms of the geographical extent of the empire. This period of the Guptas is also referred to as the classical age of ancient India. The Gupta Empire kept northern India politically united for more than 200 years, from 320 to 540 CE. There are a number of achievements to the credit of this dynasty. Art, literature and the sciences received royal patronage. Sources of Gupta's empire. Sources of information. There are fortunately several sources to help narrate the story of the Guptas. Literary sources, inscriptions, seals and coins, art and monuments. For the first time, we see the emergence of temples and also images of Vishnu and other deities. The Gupta dynasty was founded by Sri Gupta, but it reached great heights of glory under his successors Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, Chandragupta II, Kumaragupta and Skandagupta. Chandragupta I. Chandragupta I, grandson of Sri Gupta, ascended the throne in 320 CE. On marrying Kumaradevi, a Lichavi princess, he gained control over Magadha. Thus, expansion of kingdoms through matrimonial alliances was a common policy in the ancient period. Since Magadha was an important seat of power at that time, Chandragupta made it his base and was able to extend his kingdom up to Prayaga. Chandragupta later assumed the title of Maharajadiraja. Maharajadiraja means king of kings. Chandragupta's son Samudragupta succeeded him in 335 CE. He was an able general who led his armies to victory across the country. His empire extended from Punjab in the north to Kanchipuram in the south. Many kingdoms in Kashmir and Nepal were also part of his empire. There were many other kingdoms that were conquered by Samudragupta but were allowed to rule independently as long as they paid tribute. Samudragupta often celebrated his success by performing the Ashwamedha sacrifice. Ashwamedha Yagna was performed to establish a king as the overlord of the world. A horse was let loose to wander with the king's army following it for a year. The kings through whose territory the horse walked had to either fight the army or accept defeat. Once the horse returned with the defeated kings, the victorious king could take on the title Chakravarti. Chakravarti means ruler of the universe. The next powerful king in Gupta's were Chandragupta II. Chandragupta's son Samudragupta's son Chandragupta II defeated the Sekas and extended his rule over Malwa in Gujarat and Saurashtra in the west. This gave him control over the seaports of Surat and Bharuch in Gujarat. In the east, he defeated many tribes of Bengal. Chandragupta was succeeded by his son Kumaragupta, who in turn was succeeded by his son Skandagupta. It was during the reign of Skandagupta that the nomadic warlike tribe called the Huns invaded India. Their attack was largely responsible for the end of the Gupta Empire around 550 CE. Administration under the Guptas. Unlike the Mauryan Empire, the Gupta Empire was decentralized. This means that power was not concentrated in the hands of the king at the center alone, but was distributed among various officials who held a lot of power. The mantri headed the administration and the Mahabaladikatta headed the army. The empire was divided into units called bhuktis, each placed under an uparika. The bhuktis were divided into districts or vishyas placed under vishyapatis. Sometimes the vishya were subdivided into vitis and then into villages. The village headman was an important figure who managed affairs with the help of village elders. The king appointed a group of officers called Kumaramachas to help the Uparika. They were the most important officers in the Gupta Empire. They served as a link between the central and the provincial administrations. While they were mostly paid in cash, a lot of them were also paid through land grants. Artisans and bankers organized guilds of their own. Thank you, children. I will continue my lesson in next class.